Welcome to TIMFD. Today is my favorite day with your hosts, David Towner and Sam McEwen. If this podcast does speak to you, please like, share, and comment. Let your friends know all about us. And now, here's your hosts, Dave and Sam.
Oh, welcome to Today is My Favorite Day with David Towner and Sam McEwen. How you doing today? Well, we've just come out of Thanksgiving. This is the time of the year where we gather together with family. We're thankful for a whole lot of things.
Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah.
No, we are.
We are. But seriously, what's Thanksgiving mean to you? I know what you're going to say, but what does it mean to you?
We're laughing because I didn't have the mic on. We went through this whole podcast just about without a mic on. Okay, so Thanksgiving at one point to me as a child, it meant that Christmas is coming. That's all it meant.
Yep.
I was getting ready for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, all that stuff that was on television, and getting ready for presents.
There you go. There you go.
Working up mom and dad to give me the gifts I want. But as I got a little older, a little more mature, Thanksgiving has a totally different meaning to me than it did before. Yes, it's fun to get with family, and sometimes it's not fun to get with family. Yeah. Sometimes you end up with arguments at Thanksgiving table. I hate those tables where they show them, everybody's just perfect. Oh, yes, it's wonderful.
We never
Not
had that.
our house, man. There's food going everywhere. There's guys arguing. I mean, it's part of what happens when you have 4 grandsons at your house.
Yep.
I mean, it's just what it is.
I remember growing up, we'd have Thanksgiving at my grandmother's, and big old table and all this kind of stuff, but the fun was in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's where Mama was.
Yeah.
And that's where all the goodies were and things like that.
Cool.
And it took my sisters a long time to figure that out, which was good for me. But yeah, it used to be a time of family and wonderment, but it has changed so much over the years.
Yeah, it has. I know when we grew up, my parents invited families over. So we had a huge, just tables connected all over the place, and everybody would eat together, and everybody brought food. So it wasn't all on my mom. My mom would not let that happen. So everybody brought something, and it was a family's affair. That's what we did this last weekend was everyone from the family brought something because none of us wanted to do too much. It was just to hang out with each other. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what we wanted to do.
I cooked.
You cook?
I
cook
do a lot of the cooking. We brine our turkey.
Yeah, but you're like a chef.
Yeah, well, that's.
We'll talk
now
about that at a different time.
Yeah, we do. But the one thing about Thanksgiving, I always come back to the verse in 1 Thessalonians that says, give thanks in everything, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus.
Yep.
And the thing is that it says in everything.
Yeah.
And that's where we lose the thankfulness.
I do that. I do that.
I do it all the time, cut off in traffic, coming out here today, that light down the road, come on, people, move over a little bit, right?
How much the presents are, and you're having to pay for all that.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm not going in debt for Christmas presents. I'm just not going to do that.
No.
We're going to follow that financial peace stuff that you do. But the bottom line is that Thanksgiving is a time to give thanks to God. So it's a whole idea of gazing at God again, glancing at the problems, and thanking Him even for those difficult people. One of the things that I always bring up to myself is I call it love capacity. My capacity to love only goes as far as my willingness to love the person I struggle with the most. So if I can love the people around me better, even if they drive me crazy, and I'm talking about family members and church people or people in the business world or whatever, if I can love that person, pray for blessings on them, then I think I could be more thankful for not only them and their life, but also thankful for what God has given me, that person in my life that I could learn from.
Right, and that thankfulness goes hand in hand with forgiveness. And you have and that's where to be thankful for those people that we're not particularly fond of, we can change our lives and our relationship to God by being grateful for them, for whatever trials or tribulations they brought us, and then praying God's blessings on that. It's always the missing part of forgiveness. Oh, I forgave that person, but you haven't asked God to bless them. And that's hard.
One of the things my old coach used to say is, I am responsible for my attitude.
Yes.
And you must own it, right?
Yep.
And so if I'm going to have an attitude of gratitude, if I'm going to be thankful, that's my responsibility. That's no one else's.
Right.
That's not my wife's, my kids, you, or anybody else. It's my responsibility to be thankful to God because it's healthier for me, right? I mean,
right. We say, I'm so angry at you, and you took my happiness. Nobody can take your happiness.
No.
You gave it away
Yes.
by living in
Well, living in the junk.
Place.
Living in the junk.
Yeah.
I call it going into the mire, the muck, and if I'm not going to be thankful, if I'm going to be angry at somebody, I'm wallowing in it. I'm rolling in it just like you would think of a pig rolling in mud. That's exactly how I picture it for me.
Right.
And am I rolling around in the muck? And there are times where I have definitely done that. I could think of a story of a person in the church that hurt Tanya and I pretty bad. And I stayed in that muck a pretty long time, and I would not let go of it.
Me too.
And it messed me up. I did this with a business person as well, that, so it's not just church people. I don't want to, kind of go, oh, yeah, all those church people, they're all horrible. You know what? You know what church people are? They're people who accepted Christ, and they're just as messed up as the people outside of the church. It's just how do we love and forgive each other is really what we need to do. And I was not doing that. Here I am, a pastor of a church, and I'm struggling with that. So if I'm struggling with it, I know other people do. So what do you do for you to be thankful today? I mean, that's one of the things.
That's
you can bring
it.
up.
I have to take a step back.
Okay.
I look at, I have a temper.
Well, and you're also in the business world, so that's what I was kind of wondering and asking about.
So I have to take a step back and say, okay, where is that person actually coming from?
Okay.
And where did that comment come from?
Okay.
And if I do that, then I can usually put it in the proper context and be able to be grateful and thankful because maybe that comment was meant to improve me or to help me. And a great coach just pushes away. I mean, my coach's motto was bleed, suffer, die, don't stop running. So
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, right? So it's one of those, I have to take a step back. And I know that when my attitude is turning bad, if I don't stop and breathe, if I don't stop and say, okay, God, show me why I'm getting here and let me forgive, let me move on, and I got to gaze at God. I got to let go of it and gaze at God and say, okay, I forgive him, move forward and begin to pray the blessings.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and we just came through Thanksgiving, and I can look back on some of the great family gatherings we had.
Oh yeah,
but I can look back on some of the great arguments we had, and the turkey got burned, and when my mother got a little bit older, and we kind of had to stop letting her cook the turkey.
Sure, I could see that.
It was
made a mess.
Edible.
Made a mess. I get that. With my mom, this Thanksgiving was a little different because this is the first Thanksgiving without my mom.
Right.
She passed away a couple of months ago, and this holiday season has definitely been a little more trying.
Right.
And my birthday's during this holiday season, so it makes it even worse. My dad died on my birthday 4 years ago, so there's a lot of that kind of emotional stuff going on. So for those who have gone through loss, this is what I've done during Thanksgiving, is just to thank God for the people that I've had in my life. So thanking him for my mom and dad, mentor, and my dad, my mentor, my mom, my prayer warrior, and thanking him for them. And then also thanking God for the people I have in my life right now, my wife, my grandsons, my sister, my sisters, my brothers, the people in the church, yourself, and being thankful for the people I have right now.
Right.
That omnipresent God, he's right here with us right now. He wants to hear from us. He wants to hear from me. And so if you've gone through a loss, it's okay to be grieving through this thing. And I have one friend here, his name is Bruce, here at the church, who says, my dad died 20 some odd years ago, and I still, when I hear a song, I still grieve over it. Yep. And it doesn't mean that he's like, wallowing in a hole somewhere, what he's doing, he just misses the person. And we could be thankful for that person in our life, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah, I lost my dad 4 years ago at Christmas time. And my mom has Alzheimer's, so she thinks I'm her great-grandfather, by the way, which is really kind of funny because she never met him. But she saw pictures. I don't know. I haven't seen the pictures, so I must
Maybe
look something
like
that.
Him, yeah.
Must be. Yeah. But it's tough when you used to have all that. I mean, we would live in South Dakota, drive all the way to Southwest Wyoming for Thanksgiving dinner. So you're talking an 8-hour drive for Thanksgiving, and you always hope that you get there and cook the turkey before Mom did. But but no. We always had some great Thanksgivings. My mom's living with my sisters right now, and even with the Alzheimer's, she's enjoying life. I thank God that she's as healthy as she is, that she's enjoying life. I mean, they took her down the beach here a week or so ago, down to Cape May Point, and we grew up down there, and a cousin of mine passed away but she had this green Mustang convertible.
Okay.
So I'm not sure which one of my sisters drove. Either one of them probably should have gotten 3 or 4 tickets on the way, but
They drive like me then.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so Mom gets down there and I can just see her. I'm positive she loved that convertible. She wouldn't get out of the car.
Huh.
So nope. I'm sitting in this
loving
car.
that
She's
car.
loving that car.
That's her happy place, right?
It is. It is.
Yeah. And that's, I think that's another thing too. If you're in a struggle right now with loss, or you're in a struggle with a hurt, one of the things that I do is find that place that I could get alone with God in. And for me, it's water. So the beaches, we live obviously in Tampa, Florida. We're very fortunate. Yes. But also lakes, rivers. There's something about water for me that gets me into a place where I could be calm, at peace, think about who the Lord is, go over my today as my favorite days, and go over those principles, and get into a quiet place where I can start being thankful, especially with all the stuff around. You got the business going around you, you got the community, you got people in the church, you got family, all those different things kind of coming around, your own finances and that kind of thing. Right. And to slow down so I could be thankful is very important to me. And I know it's important to you too.
It is. And slowing down like that, we love the beach. We're 20 minutes from Honeymoon Island, my favorite place to go. But I also have this picture, and it's a picture I use for a backdrop from time to time. And it's one of the first sunsets that we experienced out at Honeymoon Island.
Got it.
And it's from the dog part of the island and stuff like that, right? So first, where I caught my first snook, by the way, only snook.
Nice.
And love that. Yeah, it tastes great. But anyway, no matter where I'm at, what time of the day, if I need to bring it down a notch and get closer to God, I can close my eyes and I can see that picture. I can re-experience that sunset and that joy and that peace that it brings to me, and know that I'm that much closer to God, and be able to get back into His presence and back into that attitude of gratitude.
So you're thinking about the good things of this world, so that the Philippians 4, 6 through 9, right? That whole area there that just talks about looking at the good things of this world, verses 8 and 9. So to me that's important, to be able to slow down so we can be thankful. So during this time, I think that we could bring up to those who are listening, if you are listening, we're hoping you are, and give us your feedback on this.
Absolutely.
But if you are struggling a bit right now, or you're really struggling, maybe you're in a really dark place, right? That may be where you're at right now. And we both understand those dark places.
Right.
So if that's where you're at right now, get to a place where you can be quiet. Now, you may not be able to go to a beach like what we do. You may be up north somewhere freezing. Okay, where I get that. Another quiet place for me, like you said, mine is in my office. I have this big chair, I sit in the chair and I read my Bible there. I pray there. Our cats bother me there, and you'll hear more about those cats because my wife loves them. But it's still a place of calm and quietness to let me be able to do my attitude of gratitude list. Which is very, very important. So if you're struggling, we want to encourage you.
Yes.
Just stop for a moment today, and if it could be at your office, and just speak out some of these things in your head, a few things that you're thankful for, and I think that would be helpful. One of the things that I do is I thank God for who He is, what He's done, what He's doing, and what He will do. So if you're struggling with it, you could go over those 4 things, and they help me get into a calm place.
Right. And I do the same. I start my morning off. I have a chair. Nobody gets up as early as I do.
Yeah, I know.
And so I have my quiet time. I start my day that day. And I find if I don't take my time to do a little bit of journaling, plan the rest of my day out, and spend that time in meditation with God, with His in the Scriptures. I do my Bible study then. I do my prayer then. If I don't take that time, my day's all out of kilter.
And
it's
absolutely.
It's become more and more. The older I get, maybe the gray hair is wisdom. I don't know, but the older I get, the more important that becomes, and to be able to say thank you, God, for these people in my life.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a lot more about this kind of stuff if that's what you guys want to know about. Another thing that I do is I get workouts usually every morning, and I want to do that because it slows me down. It gets me into a calmer place. I've always been in sports, my wife and I are gym rats, and we've always enjoyed that. And so the combination of going to get a workout, reading the Bible, praying, go get your workout, come back, I'm ready to get going in my life. But a lot of people can't do that. They physically can't do it. So what can you do again, it's going back to getting to the quiet place, that happy place, and slow down and start thanking God, at least for one or two things.
Right.
Doesn't have to be a ton of things, but one or two things.
Right.
And it's okay to grieve through losses. It's okay to grieve through disappointments and struggles. Both of us have been through them. All of us have. And as we said the first episode, all of us go through junk. All of us go through difficult circumstances. So it's how do we stay in a place where we could say today is my favorite day. And Thanksgiving is a gigantic area in this. And so as we finish the Thanksgiving season, now we're going into Christmas.
Yes, we are.
Which we like.
Yes, we both like Christmas.
Yeah, so we're going to enjoy that. But what else would you say about this as we're finishing up here?
As we finish up, start with one or two. I've coached some folks. I actually coached a gentleman one time, and he says, well, one of the key factors, there's 5 areas that I talk about when I do this talk, but it's one of the key factors is faith. And the guy says, well, I don't meditate. I'm not a Christian. I don't do things like that. How can I grow in that area? And so we just went back. What are you thankful for? And you don't want to pray the way I do or think the way I do. I'm okay with that. God will get you one way or another. I'll be back in your life and we'll go forward, right? But to just get in that quiet time, take the time to be thankful. And if you have to, think about the joy that has come through your life. I think about when I met my wife. I think about some of the adventures that we've been on. I also think about some of the times we've been on an adventure, and my wife, she can run circles around me. So we went to the Ukraine one year, and I'll talk more about that, but I don't know how many miles we walked the first day. I think she was trying to show me the whole country in one day. But I look back on that, and it brings me joy, and it brings me peace. And so I would encourage folks to be thankful like that and to get into that just quiet place. But we're coming into Christmas, and it's going to get crazy.
Yes, it is.
And so we would encourage you to reach out. And David, how can folks
get a hold of you? Well, they can contact me. You can contact me at contact@davidtowner.com or just go to my website, davidtowner.com.
Okay.
It's very easy to do that. And for yourself?
For me, it's sam@aliveandatpeace.com, written out. And you can go to our website, samandreadalive.com. Look, if you have questions, you have something you would like to hear us talk about, whether it be about our faith, whether it be about our physical workouts, because you do stuff entirely. I cannot do the gym rat thing like you do.
I get that.
I do a lot of walking. So if it's a faith thing, if it's a question you have about our relationship with God, about where we're coming from.
Well, and just dating in general, or just relationships in general.
Relationships.
We'll have some fun with that.
Yeah, we will.
The big thing too is that thankfulness works in every field. So if you're in the business world, it will help you in the business setting to get your head in a good place before you go and make that sale. And if you're in sports, I have grandsons that are all in sports. To be thankful for the moment that you're in will get your head in a right place, your mindset in the right place, so you can succeed. So thankfulness has a lot to do with success. It has a lot to do with what God wants us to do. He wants us to succeed, right? You see that in Joshua 1. He wants us to succeed. So, well, why not do it,
succeed?
Right? So why not do it?
Why not make today your favorite day? Don't hesitate to reach out to us. David's got the book here.
It's a shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Today is my favorite day.
Contact@davidtowner.com, sam@aliveandatpeace.com. Y'all live very intentionally and be very, very blessed today. Thanks, my friends.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to TIMFD. Today is my favorite day. The views, comments, and opinions expressed here today are those of the hosts and guests alone, and Dave and Sam are solely responsible for the content of this podcast. TIMFD, Today is My Favorite Day, is produced and directed by Alex Korn. Music is composed and performed by Chuck Vaught. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, live intentionally, and be very blessed, my friends.